I am Larissa. I'm a soul guide, and I support people with connecting with their soul blueprint so you can change your life. Okay, our soul already knows how it wants to grow and develop, and sometimes we get caught like in the lessons of life, and we kind of just get stuck like in those feelings of, wow, this is so horrible, or wow, these horrible things happen to me. And we don't really, it's hard for us to integrate the lessons and continue living our life in more powerful, more meaningful ways, because everything you have gone through is to serve you. And I know that can sound like so difficult to hear, but everything you've gone through has been planned. All of the people you've met in your whole entire life, every situation, every outcome that's happened has been for a reason, okay? And today we have a message from the Akashic Records about the February 17th portal we just went through yesterday. So if you're seeing this at like a different time, you could just be seeing it in divine timing. But I just want you guys, what the Akashic Records wants us to know is that yesterday was a really powerful day. And not only was yesterday a really powerful day, like because of the new moon, the solar eclipse, and then we had Lent, we had Ramadan, we have all the planet things going on, okay? And it's not just because of that, it's also because of collective consciousness. And that's what the Akashic Records really wants us to think about today. And what they are saying is think about the word or the phrase mass hysteria. Right now, there is widespread mass hysteria going on, like in all over the world, okay? So like I am in America, but other places are feeling it too. We're having protests all over. So what they want us to know is that there is mass hysteria going on, and it's not like for no reason. Like there are plenty of reasons for people to be very upset about like what's going on in life right now, okay? Because things are not good, all right? We need change. We need change. So obviously there's a lot of people who are really upset. We just had, there's a lot of things going on, okay? I'm not going to get into any details. Think about what's going on in the world, all right? And again, the phrase is mass hysteria. And what the Akashic Records wants us to know is that when there is hi, I see you in the comments. When there is mass hysteria, when there are people, groups and collectives of people outside being really upset by what's going on, we feel that on a soul level, okay? So the Akashic Records wants us to know that whether you are involved, whether you are, putting yourself in situations to learn more about what's going on around the world or not, you still on a soul level are connected to everyone on earth. Okay. So when people are looking at things and when they are, like protesting things and when they feel so incited, in a social justice way about things that are going on all around the world, we feel that. So even if you're not out protesting, even if you don't care about what's going on, your soul feels this, okay? Your soul feels it. Oh, thank you, Danny. So sweet. Oh my goodness. Okay, star for you. Our soul feels it, okay? That's what the Akashic Records wants us to know. So today, if you feel sluggish, if you feel sick, if you feel a little nauseous, if you feel like, I don't know, just kind of funky, like in your physical body, in your energy body, if you're having a hard time sleeping, if like food, you're having like food aversions, all of these things are connected with dis-ease, with us being uneasy in our souls because of this mass hysteria, okay? And again, the mass hysteria is just like collectively, there are so many people upset with what's going on in the world. And you don't have to be like, you can say like, I don't watch the news, like I don't even care what's going on, and that's fine. That's completely fine. But it doesn't like negate you being part of the collective. It doesn't subtract you, like just because you don't watch the news, just because you're not like getting involved, doesn't mean like all of a sudden you're not part of what's going on. Like you are still like a human being, and you're still a soul, and you're still connected to everything in the world. Hi. Okay, and that's the message from the Akashic Records. That's pretty much it. If you do not feel good today, it's because your soul is connected to the collective, and the collective is struggling. We are struggling. Okay, we're having a really hard time. And not just like in our waking life, but also what they're also saying is there's a lot of stuff going on like with our souls. So you remember like last week I explained like what a soul is and our higher self. And so if you think about the tree of life, the entire tree would be God, right? And then we have the branches, each branch is a soul. So you are one soul, one branch on the tree of God, and then your life right now is one leaf on that branch. So think about how many leaves a branch has. Like you have so many other lives, so many other experiences in other like forms, okay? And so as we spiritual warfare. Okay. So think about this, right? You have one leaf on this branch. So think of you have so many other lives that are going on, and time is not linear. Time is, I'm not going to get into time. That's a whole other, episode. But when we think about our soul is busy doing other things. Like our soul is not just in our body, our soul, because we couldn't even hold like a whole soul, right? So our soul is also doing things. So when we talk about like things like spiritual warfare, or if we talk about like, if you think about like the term astral projecting, like there are things going on when your body needs rest. Your soul is not at rest. Your soul doesn't need rest. Your soul is just light. It's pure energy. Your soul does not need rest. And so they want you also, the Akashic records also want you to be aware of that your soul is doing extremely heavy lifting. If you are here at this time, it's because you care about humanity. You care about ascension and advancement. You care about having a world that we get to enjoy, right? So that's what the Akashic Records wants us to know, those two things, okay? If you are not feeling your best today, if you feel sluggish, if you feel sick, if you just feel out of it, if you're exhausted, just know that you are a soul that's connected to every other soul. And there are so many souls who are just, like, the word I'm hearing is despondent. Like, there's so many souls that just feel like giving up. Like, we're seeing all these things come out and it's just hard to live. Like, how do you continue living? And that's where a lot of people are right now. And if you feel like sick and tired, it's because we are all connected. Like our souls are all connected. Like there is one tree of God. We're all in that tree. Even if you're one leaf like on the left side, and there's other leaves like on the right side, because we're all in that same tree, we're going to feel it. Okay. We are connected to each other. And that's what the Akashic Records want us to know. And for next steps, they're saying just to honor yourself. Like, if you, one thing they were saying is, how can you do the most with the least? Okay, so for example, like think about things you have to do in your day and how can you simplify like things you have to do, because we can't always just not do things, right? Like we have responsibilities, we have to show up like for certain things, whatever. So the Akashic Records, that's the question they want. How can you do the most with the least? Okay, so like how can you expend the least energy, but still get the things done that have to get done, right? And also like giving yourself grace and understanding that right now there is a collective shift where we are all going to feel pretty shitty. Like it's just part of life. We're going to feel pretty shitty because there's shitty things happening, and it has an effect on us, and it has an energetic effect on us, like the shitty things that are going on and how everyone is feeling. And think about like all the different sides of how people are feeling. Like there are some people, right, who are extremely shocked and very crestfallen and just like despondent and just all these like, oh God, how do I continue living? And then there's people who are just like, I don't care, let them, whatever. Like I'm not gonna, say things, but there are so many opposing feelings, and even that, like people who feel strongly on two sides, even that alone would make you feel exhausted. Okay, so the Akashic Records just want you to give yourself some grace, understand that the world is in flux, understand that people are, they're going through feelings, and because we're all connected, we're going to feel it. So the Akashic Records want you to think of that today. How can you do the most with the least? How can you still show up for the things you need to show up for, but also kind of like, reserve your own energy, like how can you, okay, so that's what they want you to think of today, because you need to honor yourself, okay? Like You don't want to run on fumes because maybe tomorrow something's going to happen and you'll need that energy. And that's something else they want you to think about. Like, please don't run on fumes. There will be things that come up that you will need to follow through on. And that's another thing, like from the Akashic records, is that heart energy. Okay, so again, like, this is a heart year, so following your heart. And if you are depleted, if you're pushing yourself past your limit, but then tomorrow you get an urge to do something, but you already used too much energy today, then it's like you are stopping your own soul growth. Okay, you are stopping, you're hindering yourself. And so that's what the Akashic records want you to think about. Like, how can you do the most with the least? How can you still show up for the things and be responsible but hold on to your own energy? And how can you nurture yourself, love yourself, and know that, this is still a heart-based year. There are still things that you are meant to do and accomplish, people you're meant to meet. You're meant to be around your soul mates and soul friends and soul love. So, just today is rough and it's okay. Like, we're all gonna be okay, all right? We're doing this together. And that's about it. The time just said 11:11, and that feels pretty completed for me. So if you have any thoughts or questions, drop it in the comments, and I'm sending you guys so much love. Bye.